Hello everyone, this is Jeff Z. Today I'm going to share my learning experience of the LeetCode problem 151 reverse words in a string. So this is a medium level problem, but I don't see this as a really like a medium level problem because as long as you know some library to use and you are allowed to use that libraries during the interview, then it's not a hard problem to solve. So let's jump into the description. So given an input string, reverse the string word by word. So what it does is uh, it's accepting a string with split it by space, right? So each of the word is actually split by space. So reversed, the word itself is not reverted, but the sequence of the word is actually reverted. Is to the origin string is the sky is blue. Now it's blue is sky the. So, there's an example too, which you actually have the leading and the tailing spaces, and in this case, you need to filter all these spaces. Um, this is example two, and example three, you have more spaces, more than one spaces in between. You need to filter all these add extra spaces when you um, come up with a final reversed string. Okay, so let's look at the note. So the note is pretty much saying the same thing, describe the same thing. Is a word is defined as a sequence of non-space characters. Input string may contain leading or tailing spaces. We shouldn't have the leading or tailing spaces after we reverse the string. You need to reduce multiple spaces between two words to a single space into the reverse string. Basically, you shouldn't have any extra spaces in between words. Okay, so this is my thought process. So firstly, I know that in Java we have this split function which you can split by space and the problem will be solved, right? The major problem will be solved. So just the one thing that you need to make sure before using this is you need to confirm with interviewer that you are allowed to use this split function. Um, and the second thing is do not forget to do the trim because sometimes there will be a space and you need to trim that and make sure that after trim it's not in the function it's not empty string, right? When you do the comparison because you don't want the um, extra space between two words. So the next one that you need to I actually thought about is the loop. When we do the loop to kind of construct the reverse string, we should loop from the end to the beginning. I mean, it's easy to understand. The last thing is I want to call out is we shouldn't use the equals equals to do the string comparison. We should use the equals function. So I need to double quotes that. Yes. The reason is if we use equals this double equals function, to compare the string instead of the equals function, what happened is it will compare the address of the string. It's not necessarily compare the value of the string. So that is not right. So equals is actually the right way to go. So you can Google that for more detailed information if you want to know. So this is actually my solution using the split. Um, so I can walk through the code. First thing is, if it's a null string, I mean the value is null, pretty much you just return null. Then you basically need to define a string builder. So string builder is basically allow you to append the string, uh, and then return the final result after uh, the new string got constructed. And then you use the split. I use the split function to split the entire string into a string array in this case. Um, then I start a loop into the entire string array, which is the words array, and from the very end to the beginning, which I mentioned before. Then um, you need to uh, make sure that you're not including any kind of space. What I use is using the trim function. Uh, then we compare if it's basically it's empty or not. If it is not, then I will include this word and will append the space as well. Um, because every word is concatenated by the space. Then at the end of the function, I return this entire I call the toString of the string builder to and then trim that to return the final string. I do the trim is because you always have this tailing space at the end of the string, which is not going which shouldn't be returned. Yeah, so this is pretty much the entire logic of the string of this reverse words function. It's not super hard, uh, from my opinion. And actually, there is a solution too, which after I checked the standard solution in the LeetCode, what it does is actually it's using a scanner. So not a lot of people actually will use this scanner. What it does is pretty much that you have this you define a scanner. It's kind of like a pointer of this string. For this string, you use the scanner, and then you say, okay, have uh, have we see the next? If there's a next, then we combine the next plus basically the result, the previous result. So because we want to reverse that, right? So we can do this all the time until we loop all the parts. So so this is pretty much and also return the result finally. So it's actually pretty simple. It's simpler than what you see in the reverse words. I would say like in this case, the time complexity. Oh, the time complexity of the above one is actually O(n), because you pretty much need to loop all the words, right, in the string. Yeah, so this is O(n). And the space complexity, it's also O(n), because you need to return you need to have a string builder and then to host all the words and then return that, right? So similar to here, the scan function, it will be the same. Space complexity. In this case, you have the results, and you need to loop all the strings, so it will be entire string, so it will be O(n), and time complexity will be O(n), and the space complexity it's also ON because you have to define a string which hosts all the words as well and return that. All right, so that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. Hope my experience will help you to avoid any mistakes in the future. Thanks for watching. See you next time.